Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's crystal channeling. Very, very special crystal today. I'm going to hold it up so you guys can see, but I want it to be in focus. So this is a blue Terra Japan Law Twin Scalpel Formation Quartz. I got this from my friend Steve. He sells very rare specimens online on Instagram, and I'll include his handle below for those of you who want to check out his account. But he posted this one day, and I was like, don't tell me the price, but how much is that? Because this just speaks to me. I have to have it. And so here it is. I got it. Really intense crystal. I wrote about this crystal a few weeks ago on my blog when I was talking about working with crystals at the liminal point of consciousness. So as opposed to sleeping with them through the night, just working with them when you're right in that half conscious state between being awake and being asleep, and that's where you're really able to tap in on the psychic plane and connect with crystal consciousness and crystal energy very easily. There are a lot of other ways to work with crystals at the liminal point, but for us in the modern age, that's an easy way. When I worked with this crystal, I just felt incredible healing energy coming through my whole body. I felt my clairaudience kick off and open up, which is a psychic ability that I tend not to use much. I tend to rely more on my claircognizance and my clairsentience, and just my whole energy field just expanded, and it was like, it was amazing. And after about 10 minutes, it was like, okay, that's enough. That's enough energy for now. But it really affected me. Like, I felt it for the next 48 hours or so, just how, my energy and my energy frequency had been altered by this crystal. People do use scalpel quartz formations in psychic surgery, or what we call psychic surgery, doing energy work that's really specific, where we're severing things or attachments from the body, and other work of that nature. I tend not to. You have to be so careful when you're working with crystals and crystal wands and wand formations in psychic surgery, because it's easy to damage the energy body if you're not really clear on what you're doing. But anyway, let's start the channeling, shall we? And see what comes through from this crystal. Gonna need my grounding stones after this one. Whoa, just tons of light energy coming up through my body, coming up through my system. I'm seeing a lot of imagery and images, on the screens of my eyes, in my mind. Really powerful. And again, right away, clairaudience. I feel that energy open up in my in my ears and in the auric field right near my ears. I'm also definitely feeling some vortex energy at my third eye chakra. Throat is ramping up now, and now we're moving down into the heart. Bit of the solar plexus as well. The spiritual plexus, igniting the spiritual plexus. There's a spiritual plexus in some chakra systems. I tend to work with the spiritual plexus a lot. For me, it feels like, I know they talk a lot about the jade pillow, where the spirit enters and leaves the body in the back of the head. But for me, there's a very powerful soul connection for me through that spiritual plexus, and I'm feeling that there. Also, for those of you who work with the Kundalini energy, or activating the Kundalini energy, I'm feeling that coil of energy really sort of activate and get stronger. And almost this feeling like wings opening up on my back. And interesting, I just got a question, where do you want to go? And so what it's telling me is that this particular, because I actually feel a little bit nauseous now because my energy is just opened up so quickly. So there's some nausea happening here. But what I'm seeing is that one of the things this crystal opens up is divine portals to different levels of consciousness, different realms. It really can be used for absolutely anything. For those of you who work with astral travel or practicing astral travel, connecting with ETs, Akashic records, the archetypal field, liminal point comes up. And also, I call this the 0 point field of manifestation, sort of that 0 point field of manifestation where you can sort of plant. It happens first through consciousness in terms of thought, and then gradually comes through the energy fields until it physicalizes and becomes actualized in your physical experience. Also angelic. For those of you who work with angels, angel guides, connecting with angelic frequencies, I'm seeing this. It's just like, wow, this is a cornucopia of spiritual delight is opening up. And so it's almost like, you know, the image that comes to me, if you guys remember, and this, you know, I'm an 80s child, so it's like there used to be this thing, this like little plastic light machine that you would plug in, and it would have like a screen, like almost like like a screen with a light underneath it, and it would like project stars and things like that up on your ceiling. So it's almost like it opens up that type of thing, and it's really choosing about what you want to connect with, where you want to go, what can be of service to you at this time. And while it's doing that, it's also, there's this second cycle of like energy currents going through the body that's seeking out areas of you know, ill health, low flow of chi, also inflammation, weakness in terms of bringing more energy, more of you know, the body's natural systems of healing, sort of bringing more of that energy to those places to help heal, to help restore them. And you know, it's interesting because even though there's like this big opening up that's happened, you know, at the same time, I'm also feeling a lot of energy flow right down my legs into my feet. So sometimes when we work with these really, really high frequency crystals that support us into going into altered states of consciousness, we really feel like we're lifted up out of our body. Ooh, I've got to be careful. That made me feel a little nauseous again. You know, Dambarite, selenite are classic examples of crystals that really kind of bring you up there. But I'm also feeling the energy go right down, you know, into, as I said, the soles of my feet, down into the earth. So this is very much a crystal and an experience of expansion, expansiveness of our energy bodies. In terms of all that we connect with, we're very compartmentalized, we humans, in terms of, you know, how we think. Things need to be broken down in a linear fashion, because that's just a way that we've learned to understand and appreciate our reality. And it is saying this is a thing that is learned, which means there are other ways of being, you know, that we can learn, other appreciations of reality and connecting with reality and perspectives and whatever. And it's saying, you know, that's very much the path of the guru, the sage, the saint who had transpersonal experiences is the word that's coming through. Transpersonal experience, transmogrification. I feel like that word came through before in a different channeling, where it's basically they're aware of different realities and states of being simultaneously. and it frees them from that one experience of reality that we're having. So a lot of that has come through the Blue Tara, and now, you know, coming into the Japan Law Twin. So recognizing ourselves for who we are, seeing ourselves as both shadow and light in the interplay that happens. I'm seeing the yin and the yang symbol. Recognizing that reality, dual reality, recognizing that dual reality is a participatory experience. So one can sort of merge energetically and experience all of life, all of creation, all of energy. I'm seeing strings, which makes me think of string theory in physics, in terms of how things are connected. What is that? Fractal fields, in terms of how reality is almost like a patchwork of fractal fields. And so being able to connect with that, but then also being able to separate and see the dualistic nature, the balance of things, how each thing interplays in terms of cause and effect, how things feed one into another. So it's like this expansiveness and this appreciation for reality that one could say has zero modern application whatsoever in everyday life, but is exceptionally fascinating. And it's, you know, for people who are philosophers, for people who are interested in the nature of existence, of the universe, of the cosmos, how we function as energy beings. It's saying that at some point we have to realize how our minds work, how they've been conditioned to work, and how they can change. They can be shifted to appreciate things in different ways, and especially for energy workers, being able to walk into and expand into greater knowledge of this, because they're saying, you know, there's hidden and secret teachings that sometimes are taught, that are passed down. There are other things that are kind of lost to our conscious understanding of energy, and that can be reclaimed. So there's a real, again, expansiveness of experience that's happening here in terms of how we look at reality, how we appreciate reality, how we interact with reality. You know, really seeing things on an energy level. This idea of, you know, separation. They're saying it doesn't necessarily exist, because even in duality, everything is connected. And then we've moved on to, interesting. Moved on into the Scalpel formation of the quartz, and about how this is cutting away cords. Not, you know, cords, not the cords that we talk about, you know, like corded between you and another person or whatever, but cutting away the cords, the tethers, that really kind of hold us back in terms of how we can move, leap, take evolutionary leaps, again, in terms of our consciousness and understanding. And it's saying that there are certain crystals. So all of these, you know, all of these elements of this crystal sort of combine into sort of delivering this purpose, this expansiveness. But what it's saying is, you know, there comes a point where, you know, we kind of hit a point where we're studying our work. And again, I'm seeing this especially with energy work, spiritual work, you know, spiritual philosophy and learnings. You know, we hit a certain point and we just sort of start to function at that level. And it's saying we can really start to move that needle forward more in terms of, again, this word transpersonal experience, and allowing ourselves to be in greater levels of consciousness, activating more of the mind, being able to connect with more of that, and, you know, allowing some of this to come in and start leading the people. Leading the people instead of the ego and the wounded ego and the wounded pride, and the wounded leader or warrior, if you will, that currently is leading so much of human experience. So it's saying that there are crystals that are coming into experience, that are being shared, that are being discovered, that again are meant to elevate, because it's simply our time. It's part of the ascension process, and really allowing ourselves the time to experience these crystals and their effects more fully, so that we can then ground that energy and I don't know, do something with it. So that's the wow, that was 16 minutes. I don't believe it. That was the channeling. My hand is just like super sweaty right now. There was so much heat. There was so much energy coming through this crystal. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna need my grounding crystals after this, and I think a good walk in the woods, the trees. So that was the channeling. That was the channeling. Japan, Blue Terra, Japan Law Twin, Scalpel, Quartz. Hello, I'm really glad you are in my collection. Mwah. All right, so thank you very much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who are interested in training with me, enrollment for my spring Pro Crystal Healer program does open March 24th. So check out my website, join the newsletter, and stay tuned for more channelings next week. Thank you.